where we don't charge the
I'm very familiar. SEMAs were gone, correct? I mean, that was not used anymore, but I've done plenty of SEMAs. Now, if I could say a SEMA is an agreement to continue the prior loan and just pay the mortgage tax on the new money, they say the difference between the old and the new.
Yes. So
I did thousands of those.
Yes. So what they do is they collect the Alangi, they collect the documents that show the mortgage tax that was paid in the previous loan, and they only charge the difference. So if the person is doing a cash out and the loan amount is higher, then they only pay the mortgage tax and the
now mortgage. This is very valuable in New York City because the mortgage tax is so high.
Yes. In New York City, it's about 2.05%, but the bank carries about a quarter of a percent,
right?
And then the borrower has to pay the rest. But if we do a SEMA, we've always done SEMAs. It's just that not all banks like doing them because they'd rather close faster, sooner than later. Because
during this mortgage boom, I've heard of no SEMAs being done.
Well, because people were, they didn't care to pay a higher closing cost. They just wanted to get the lower rate.
Mm-hmm. SEMAs are back.
Yes, and lastly, I wanted to mention the ITIN program. Remember, you asked me what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Individual tax identification number. There are people in this country that are not permanent residents or U.S. citizens, and they have to work with a tax identification number in order to. I'm sorry, are you there? Okay.
Yes, of course.
In order to obtain employment and pay their taxes and do things legally, they obtain an individual tax identification number, just like a corporation would have an EIN, but it's given to an individual person. They report their income and their tax return. I'm sorry. So they report their income and their tax return with that tax ID number, and we are able to lend to them now with new programs that we have for people who hold tax ID numbers. These are people that are non-documented residents of the U.S. They don't have a green card, they don't have an employment authorization card, but they pay their taxes on a tax return with a tax identification number. Most banks won't do those loans, but we're doing them. Of course, they have to put at least 20%.
Right. That's powerful. How are you making agents know about this information now before using the Plug Intro sharing opportunity? How are you just reaching them on your own?
I'm sorry, I got disconnected and
no problem,
I didn't hear the first part of your sentence.
I said, so at this point, before utilizing the Plug Intro platform to share your content with the agent referral partners, what were you doing? Just picking up the phone? And how are you making people aware of that the new programs? And
well, I'll tell you that now that you connected me in Plug Intro, and you helped me with that group on Facebook, I'm getting calls from people that I don't even know who referred them. And they're seeing the information on the page.
But I got to tell you that the entire point is for you to meet who you should know. The whole goal is to give your content to people you'd like to hear it. And then we offer that opportunity to those same people. And when they invite their people, of course, you don't know my client's brother, Monica. So the whole point is to meet new people on a daily, weekly basis. So I'm glad that works. But imagine what we can do when you have 20, 30 agents that work with you. You'll meet all the people that they know, and they will meet the people you know. And it just goes, it's really, this should be your main referral flow.
I'll tell you the truth. You asked me, what was I doing before? Before, I was working with about 5 real estate agents, and I was not complaining because, they always referred me business, and we've known each other for many years. They like the way I work, and I also get referrals from previous clients. So I had a good flow of business, but now the pace has been a lot faster because now I have about 15 to 16 real estate agents referring me business after I started Plug Intro. And It's a lot of work, but I'm happy because right now, many loan officers might not have the amount of leads or partners that I have at the moment.
Right. And you've just begun. Imagine now that we're going to give this time and our staff works for you, and you have an opportunity to give these agents a real boost in their local exposure. If you think that they love you now, imagine when they've gotten 5 or 6 listings from people they just met, but then it all came from you. That's what's
That would be
powerful.
amazing.
It's amazing. Well, you know, what we've done with Plug Intro really is just what's done in life, where if you help people, they'll tell others about it, and then you'll meet them. But it's in that case, you still have your daily schedule that might interfere with that flow of an introduction. Now we have a digital place where people live, so it's important. I mean, you know, agents are going to have problems. I'm dealing with problems right now where, as a listing agent, they're nervous that the buyer that does not have a clear to close may not have locked. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people who qualified before and do not qualify as it gets close to closing.
That's why I recommend that application. It's called Mortgage News Daily because it's a free application, and I think every loan officer should have it because you get alerts and the rates. Every time the rates go up or go down, or every time the Federal Reserve, the chairman of the Fed says something, they'll put the article in there. They show you rates that other banks are charging, and it's a very valuable tool. Because let's face it, sometimes we're in meetings, sometimes we're on the phone. We could be doing 1,000 things at the same time. What if the rates change and you didn't notice, and you had your borrower at a 4.75 and now the rate is 5.75? So if you can at least have an application that's alerting you, hey, the Federal Reserve is having a meeting tomorrow, the rates may go up. Guess what? You should lock your rate today.
Right. And I mean, and sellers are buying a new house, so now they're dependent on the buyer of their own home. And you're talking about people who have very, very thin debt to income. So if this new monthly payment could actually knock them out of qualifying, I think you're going to have to issue some declination letters at some point. That's tragic.
Yes. But that's exactly why I say that it's good to have the app Mortgage News Daily.
Sure. And even if it's not tragic, and even if there is no interruption in the putting that means the people don't have money necessarily for the improvement of the house. They don't have money for other of their needs. I mean, you're putting such a burden of these increased costs in the acquisition and the improvement and even the maintenance. I mean, maybe you don't want a new wallpaper, but you certainly have to tend to your systems, your HVAC and your appliances.
Well, speaking of that, you reminded me. There's another product that we have. I don't recall the exact name, but we can do that one for our next meeting. I'll get you all the information. It's a conventional program.
Yes, perfect, please.
It's a conventional program that gives the buyers 10% of the purchase price to use towards repairs in the home after they close. And they don't need a HUD consultant. They don't need a contractor. They don't need an estimate. They don't need anything. All they need to do is their debt to income ratio, of course, needs to work. The extra 10% has to, be added to the loan amount. But it's huge because back in the days when you had to wait for a 203K for a HUD consultant and a sorry. Yes.
No problem. So there's no more need for a 203K, which was helpful, but I know the 203K needed all the receipts. They needed the involvement of the contractors. It was a really regulated opportunity. And I know that FHA 203K was also had limits as to what you could do. It was more structural than putting paint on or it wasn't really renovation. It was more so repair.
So This program is totally different from the 203K program because this is a conventional loan, and you don't need HUD contractor, you don't need receipts, you don't need estimates, you don't need a contractor or HUD consultant, you don't need any reports. You just have to tell the bank you're interested in getting the 10% um, towards repairs. So if the house costs if the seller wants 500, you're allowed to get up to 10% in repairs. Now, this is not going to work obviously for a house that needs a gut rehab. You would still have to do the 203K or the Fannie Mae home style. But think about it. If you, as a real estate agent, find someone a home and they tell you, oh, you know what, I want it, but I only have enough for down payment and closing. And after I close, I would like to, put a new kitchen or bathroom, and
You can
it's only
upgrade.
cosmetic.
You want to upgrade?
Yes,
Sure. You want to upgrade, get rid of the old stuff.
yes, and then that will help you close the sale. And not only that, but you don't have to wait for all the paperwork with the 203K. So that program is excellent. We also have another program.
Right. That's a powerful thing. I didn't know about that. I'm sure the agents don't know about that. And some program like that, Monica, makes a realtor able to tell their contacts, hey, listen, I have a program because I work with Monica that other agents and have no money for improvements or upgrades, or you could buy with me. And because that agent has a connection to you, that person, that buyer is really, really satisfied because they have a chance to get new countertops and new appliances and even, a fresh coat of paint, a place they want to live in.
Yes, definitely. It's a powerful tool.
It's powerful.
And not only that, even to get the listing. If you have a listing from
Sure.
someone who needs some cosmetic work, you can tell them, I can get the buyer into a program where they can get the funds to do the work that the home needs.
Right. So a house that could use some work, I have several now, if they know about, instead of running away from the house, they can know that there's an opportunity to buy the house and have income.
Yes, definitely. I'm sorry, the connection, I don't know
exciting.
why.
And this is all great mortgage information, and it's a two-step process with Plug Intro and your platform, Plug Intro Burgos, where you're sharing information to people who may find the need and to agents that work in the industry. However, imagine giving this information and a chance for agents to tell their clients that they have a way that would improve their purchasing power or their experience. So now, by giving your agents this chance, you're the one and only exclusive lender with these folks, and they really, really will appreciate the chance to have another key offering. So, there's a great opportunity to really get the maximum exposure to something like you're offering just by involving more people. And we have a tight unit here that's being administered by staff.
Yes, I've been telling some of my friends. Mm-hmm.
Right, but telling your friends is just one little, you just tell a tale, where now it has to be on a video and shared, and then right, because I've had a client recently the other day. I put him on this platform, and he was giving me this story, that story. I said, you got to say it on a video because you're going to tell me you said something else. So it's better than writing. I said, let me send you a link, and you're going to tell me a better direction of what we're going to do with this property if you get a certain offer. And they said, sure. But let me tell you, it's funny how they wanted to say it, but they didn't want to say it on video. I said, whoa, you don't want to be held accountable?
That's funny. Well,
that's funny, right?
Some people are like that.
Well, that's great. And maybe you want to, yeah. Well, I think that your assistance with these realtors and their contacts should really make you stand out above your competition, because the people that you are working against, the competition, does not have a tool like this that makes your information be heard and shares this opportunity with the referral partners.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me to Plug Intro.
All right, well, we're going to keep, yeah, our staff, the best approach right now, the ideal way to handle this is to keep inviting real estate agents. We'll take each of those people, make a separate group for you and each of them, and we'll gain exposure. I mean, I hope it works for everyone. And we also have those people in the professions and the trades and the business owners that should gain more exposure. We're going to find people that want to work exclusively with you. By that, I mean, the people in the industry or locally will want to claim the position and lock out their competition and be the one provider of their services. So we're making those kind of groups, which you'll be the only lender. The agent you select will be the only agent. And then we'll build them around them. It'll be a monthly meeting and featuring them weekly. It's really fantastic. We're really happy about the results we've gotten.
Thank you. So I'll be referring you some realtors.
Just invite them, no referrals. Just press invite in your group
yes,
here.
Many of them are already part of the Facebook group.
Great. Okay, we're doing great things. Monica, thanks very much.